Hello everyone, it's the 24th of October and I am in the woodland about to inspect the river crossing that has suffered from the huge amount of rainfall we had at the beginning of the month. It's something that I didn't spot at the time because, as I'll show you, from the road it just doesn't look as though something's happened. But when you get closer, the full effect of the amount of rainfall that we had in a very short period becomes really obvious. Behind me you can see an example of what we're hoping to create in our woodland at Dunans. This idea of native forestry with paths through it. That is actually a Telford road, and part of the 1,000 miles that the eminent Victorian engineer built during the early part of the 19th century, when he was also commissioned to build our bridge. Anyway, let's go and have a look at what's happened to the forestry crossing. This is our marshalling yard for the timber, and as you can see we have a little timber left, but this is actually the stuff that was used to create about 10 crossings in the grounds of the woodland. We're presently waiting for them to be nicely washed off so they can be transported out at some point in the next couple of 3 months. So here is the view from the road, and this is what I saw the day after the rain. There's a bit of brash that's come down the river and wedged itself under the crossing, but from here it doesn't look anything significant, but you just wait. So I'm trying to give you an idea of how steep this is and I'm having trouble keeping my footing. There we go. Oy. So this is the track along which all of the timber was brought up from the woodland, and just here we have a cross drain and also a barrier to mean that people can't drive on across our crossing, which is actually probably a very good thing, because when you get here you can see that there is a drop there. This is it, where the earth is cracked and scooping down to there is where it's dropped. This is now unusable, and it's been forced into this by this huge amount of timber that's come from upstream. So the river's running underneath the bridge or the crossing, but as you can see, it really has dropped quite a lot. And here's all the timber that has been washed down just in this one huge event from upstream. You can also see how the drains at the side of the road have been scoured out by the amount of rainfall we've had. And of course all of this that we can see uphill will get replanted in due course. Well, actually in the next couple of months. So it gives you more of the scale, I think, of what we're dealing with here. So if you want an idea of where the level used to be on this bridge, just below the green netting there is a single spar that's just slightly bowing there. That was the level of the crossing, and you can see how the rest of it has dropped below that level. So here's an observation just to give you a context of how much water we had through here. So whilst we would expect all the water to go under the bridge, the tree here, with its lack of green on its roots, shows that it was taking the full brunt of the torrent literally to the level of the bridge. In other words, this whole bridge would have been submerged. It seems to me that nature really tried its hardest to get rid of this crossing. That it didn't succeed is a testament to how well the guys built it when they put it in over a year ago. What, you might ask, are we going to do? Well, it's a good question. I don't think this crossing is going to be recoverable. Well, unless our forestry consultancy says different. But for me, this is done. That said, there really were only two major heavy crossings still projected to happen. One of which was to bring on the big planting digger, and the other was to take it off again. So we've got to look at how we're going to do that, and it may be that we can find an alternate access for just those two trips over our neighbour's land, which means that this isn't as essential as perhaps it would have been. But we've just got to work out what we're now going to do in terms of foot access to the woodland, because this was going to be our main point of access. You know, the best laid plans and all of that have been completely upended by climate change. Who knew?